Let's turn to the second-ranked team in the country. The Duke Blue Devils taking on Virginia Tech tonight. The Blue Devils trailing by 4 at the half. They win this game 76-65. T.O., I start with you. What changed? I don't think we're hearing Terrence. Randolph, are you hearing Terrence?
I'm here. Sorry. In the second half, they finally started to get some production off their inside with their post play. Paolo Banchero, I was starting to wonder, he's had a rough couple of games. I was starting to wonder if that sophomore slump was, or like a freshman slump where he's getting close to Christmas. He wants to be home, yada, yada, yada. Like some of these freshmen, they have a hard time right around this time because all the students are home. It's a different vibe on campus, the whole nine. Comes back out, ends up with 23-8. And he's just such a special talent and special athlete that you can't hold him down for long. And I applaud his ability to stay aggressive the whole time. Ended up with 20 shots. How many freshmen are just going to keep chucking? That's my kind of freshman. Me and Randolph are those kind of guys. Like we're going to keep chucking. So he that made me even more of a fan. But no, I thought he was. They started to get production out of him. Wendell Moore Jr. I sent a tweet out earlier, most improved player in the conference, might end up being player of the year in the conference. He has been a special player there in Durham to go along with PJ Hall, who's very good, and Darian Sebron. I will never forget that name again every time I mention it. I feel like I got corrected about 20 times on Twitter. Thanks, Twitter world. I'm good with it, though. Thank you. But no, he is absolutely terrific. They didn't need Trevor Keels to be spectacular tonight. I mean, this talent level at Duke, especially when the interior scoring in the manner that it is, they're really tough to stop.
Randolph, your thoughts?
I was surprised. I mean,
you were surprised.
I was surprised. I honestly, if I had to pick it, I was picking Virginia Tech to come in tonight. I just thought that listen, because we've been killing the league, and I just thought, just to, further give clout to the ACC, and I'm trying to as much as I can to build this up, but I was actually cheering for Virginia Tech just to go in and get a win tonight. I thought it would have meant the world to those guys. They lost, to Wake by 20 at home and then going on the road to Duke. I thought they could have got them early, but they didn't. I mean, they came out early ready to play. Alibe was dominant. He was 25-10. I think he had something to do with Paulo struggling at the beginning. I mean, he came out really strong going at him. Justin Moots was great. He was 20 and 9 himself. So they got a lot of it at front court, but the concern that I had going into the game was going to be Duke backcourt. I'm just not a big fan of what Virginia Tech is getting out of their guard play right now, and that's going to be the Achilles heels for them going forward all year. I think they got to get more consistency and better guard play if they're going to be the team that we all thought they could be, top 3 team in this league.
Well, 17 out of his 25 came in the first half. I mean, he single-handedly carried them, and Banchero only had 6, and then absolutely just turned it on. So, I mean, front court play is what ended up turning it around. And Wendell Moore, a guy who was a picture of inconsistency last year, has turned into Mr. Consistent this year. And it just comes along with being extremely confident and knowing I'm going to fit into this role to where I'm not going to take the most shots. I'm only going to take them when I'm open. And I'm going to facilitate first. And then after that, I'm going to find ways to get my own. And it's fit him so well. And we talked about maybe a little bit of an Andre Iguodala role that, I mean, he's shooting it better, but that third or fourth option, whenever he was able to do that, and when I say that, I mean a third or fourth shot attempt option, not necessarily like we're not going to run things through him, but his mentality towards playing this season has changed, and he's benefited from it.
He's playing what he's comfortable doing. He's like a point forward. I mean, he's much more comfortable with the ball in his hand, making decisions. They're better and more comfortable with the ball in his hands, making decisions. Even in the earlier games we watched him play this year, he's the guy they want getting the ball, closing the game at the free throw line. He knows his value in his team, and I think he's invaluable to them. I think he's – and don't underestimate him defensively. I think that's where he's just been as good as he's been offensively. He's been better defensively. I think he's right now probably player of the year. If this team continues on the way we think, I think he'll win player of the year for this team. I think Paulo Banchero will get all the accolades. He'll get all the scoring. But everyone that's watching Duke play, they'll go as far as Wendell Moore leads them.
Yep. I agree with that. And I think that when Duke has that perimeter scorer of some sort with a player as good as Banchero on the floor, it makes the world of a difference. And you don't have to – when we say perimeter scorer, we are not sitting here and saying the ability of a team to hit 10 3-pointers. Duke doesn't need to hit 10 threes to win. They actually need about 5 to 7. If this team's getting 21 points off threes, the game is over. It's over as far as I'm concerned. Tonight they got 15, but they defend the other side so well. And when you look at Moore, again, a guy that is understanding timeliness of his shots. He doesn't force the issue anymore. He's embracing who he is on this team. 6 and 9 from the field tonight, 18 points, 4 assists. And we've said this before, but I will say it again. This is a throwback Duke team, and in other respects, a throwback college basketball team with a transcendent player, but they defend you off the bus. They rebound the basketball. They don't
our best deals of the season.
With new cars arriving. They don't always play pretty. They don't need to play pretty. And with how hard they play, in an era of recruiting in layup lines and transfers and chaos and you name it in the offseason, where you're working just as hard, if not 3 times harder in the offseason to figure yourself out, Mike Krzyzewski stayed on campus. Mike Krzyzewski was able to go to his roots with this group. You can feel the roots of Coach K in his last team at Duke.
And one more thing. Last year they had Matthew Hurt playing the 4. And this year they have Paolo Banchero playing the 4.
Yeah,
and I know that Matthew Hurt was a big stat stuffing dude, but he wasn't a grab a rebound off the top of the backboard and hit an outlet kind of guy either. And Wendell Moore, it's almost like I didn't give him enough credit. Paolo Banchero, when he hits him on an outlet and Wendell Moore gets going, he's one of these like 2 dribbles from half court and finish guys. Like they say in football, you guys know this. They say in football, 2 strides, 10 yards. If you're that kind of athlete, we know you're a big time athlete. Like it's almost like get to the rim all the way in 2 dribbles from half court in traffic. And you know you're that type of athlete. And he's so rangy with the basketball, and he's such a creative finisher. It's something that I think, to your point, Fanta, having Banchero there to be able to get the ball, snatch it, having Mark Williams playing in the manner in which he's playing it, get the ball, snatch it, hit an outlet, let him attack right away. I mean, it's opened up the best parts of his games. I'm happy for the kid because he took a lot of flack last year, and he has been tremendous.
So Duke wins this game, and they win it by 11. Terrence, any big picture thought? Or Randolph, you brought it up, the backcourt. Their starting backcourt tonight, Virginia Tech starting backcourt was 7 for 22 from the field combined in this game. I mean, any big picture thought on the Hokies? Because I know, T.O., you thought that this could be a basketball team that makes some noise.
And you know what? It's still a team that can still play well in the ACC. It's just a matter of Storm Murphy has to be a little bit better than what he's been. And I actually thought they had a better chance tonight than what ended up happening. They ended up losing by about 10 points-ish because I knew that team wouldn't get rattled. In the first 15 minutes of tonight's game, they only had 1 turnover. And whenever you do that at Cameron Indoor, you're going to give yourself a chance because you at least got to get a shot up. And that's where a lot of teams struggle because they're dribbling it off their foot. They're getting pushed out of bounds and there's no calls. I thought that was true. I don't know about you, Randolph. It might be true as a player or a coach. There might be a little no call action going on there at Cameron Indoor, but who am I to judge?
In Cameron, no, never.
It was almost like some of those calls at Thompson Bowling, but I digress. But it's an older team that takes care of the ball, and they're going to give themselves a shot on every possession, and that's going to help later on down the season because they don't turn the ball over so much. They're going to be secure. They're going to be able to get things. Mike Young's terrific in finding offense. They don't really have a downhill driving guard like they did last year. I think that's going to hurt them a lot.
They miss Beatty and those guys from last. They miss their toughness. I mean, I think Storm Murphy gives them the ability to make shots. So if you're forced to double Levy, Aluma or Mutts inside, he's able to go outside and knock down some shots. But the athleticism of these guards in this league, he's going to need some help. And I think that's the issue that I have. I don't think he's played very well. I have some defensive concerns about him. I think he'll figure it out. Mike and that staff is great. They'll figure it out. But the athleticism of some of these guards, like tonight, he's gonna have to play and stay in front of a Wendell Moore or even a Jeremy Roach. I mean, he has a set of wheels on him. So that's the concern that I have, and it breaks their defense down. And the pressure, just getting this shot off. If it's not schemed and you just roll the ball out and got to play, how is he going to get his offense?
And I think we forget to mention too, like there's a big difference between playing 3 high majors a year and playing 3 a week. And that's going to take a toll. And Virginia Tech's had a heck of a non-conference schedule.